We have one last division to talk about, and I think this division might be the easiest division that we've talked about so far. This and the AFC. I'm sorry, the AFC North I thought was pretty easy, but let's assess the quarterback situation in the NFC West. What do you think?
Okay, let's start with the easiest, the Los Angeles Rams.
Well, they just gave away the world for Matthew Stafford, so I don't think Matthew Stafford's going anywhere. He's staying right there.
Indeed. No chances of him getting elsewhere. So next on the list, another easy one, the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, man, look at Kyler Murray's an exciting player. Kyler Murray is like, I'm not going to lie. I would have 2 games on every Sunday, and I would focus on the Steelers a little bit, and then when the game that was over, I would flip around to different games and everything. But when Arizona was on, that was must-watch TV for me. I watched probably in full at least 7 Arizona games this year, where I was like, I couldn't take my eyes off this kid. He's just, you don't know what's going to happen next. He's magical back there, and he throws from some of the most awkward positions, and he's got a lot of Patrick Mahomes in him, but he's a quicker guy. He's a guy that can just take off. He's got to be scary as hell for offenses. And as he's learning more, going into year 3 in the same system, and they're going to keep adding weapons, that's a team that's going to be scary as hell. He's not going anywhere, obviously. I just wanted to tell you that I thought Kyler Murray was awesome.
Yeah, he's staying put. And imagine if they will have an offseason with him and DeAndre Hopkins learning the ropes together. Exactly. And they could be deadly.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Okay, next on the list. Yeah. Next on the list for the NFC West, the Seattle Seahawks.
Russell Wilson wants out. I fucking hate this guy.
What do you know? He wants out.
If Russell Wilson leaves, he's a $40 million cap hit. Let's imagine for just a second, Lance. Let's just pretend the game. Let's play along, and let's say the Seahawks say, you know what? We don't need this kind of the BS. Russell says, I can't play here. There's an impasse that pops up, and they're going to trade Russell Wilson. They're going to eat the $40 million salary cap. I don't know why they would do that, but let's imagine that they would. What do you think the value of Russell Wilson is? Now, for those people out there that are listening, Lance has been valuing as we go along. So far, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Lance's value and each one of these things is not just due to quarterback talent, but due to quarterback circumstances. So Deshaun Watson is 3 first-round draft choices, minimum. These are all minimum. Yeah. The floor. Deshaun Watson, 3 first-rounders. Dak Prescott, if he were to be signed and traded, this is the situation. Signed and traded is a first and a second rounder.
Yes.
Carson Wentz is 1 second rounder. Sam Darnold is 1 second rounder. And Derek Carr, just the way he is either a first rounder or 2 second rounders. I just wanted to catch up anybody who might be watching this in a clip on YouTube or didn't listen to the whole show. That's your value so far. So we're talking about Russell Wilson. What is the value for Russell Wilson on the trade market today, right now?
Okay, so given that Russell Wilson is already advanced in age, so you don't know how much years you can get out of Russell Wilson. He still is a viable hits. Taking a lot of hits. Yeah. He is the most sacked quarterback since 2017, and he had like 400 hits this season. So given that he has a lot of hits and he's not getting any younger, the ceiling, so this is the ceiling that I would give up for a Russell Wilson is 1 first rounder and 2 second rounders. Not necessarily in the same draft. So that's the ceiling that I can see for Russell Wilson.
That's the ceiling. That's not even the floor. That's the most you give up.
Yeah, that's the ceiling.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think Russell Wilson does himself any favors by coming out and saying these things publicly. I think if the idea was to get traded away, I think one of the worst things that you did for yourself was that you lowered your own value. You literally came out and said, I'm a damaged asset. I'm tired of getting beat up here. So if I'm going to trade for you, that's one of the first things I think about. Well, are you hurt? Why are you complaining like this? Are you starting to feel the pains? You don't want to take the hits anymore? Because once a quarterback decides he doesn't want to be hit anymore, he's a different quarterback. Like, he doesn't play the way he used to play. There's a physicality that's involved in football. And once you decide you no longer want to be part of that physicality, there's some real problems that could be happening. So, I don't think Russell Wilson's going to go anywhere at all. I think he stays there. If he goes, your evaluation is interesting, but I don't know. So there's one last team that we have not talked about. 2 years ago, they were in the Super Bowl. Last year, they were awful. San Francisco 49ers.
San Francisco 49ers.
So there's a lot of what ifs. A lot of people saying Kyle Shanahan really likes this guy. Kyle Shanahan's trying to get this guy. Kyle Shanahan's trying to bring in Deshaun Watson. Kyle Shanahan doesn't like the quarterback that he has. Now that's really where the big problem is. Guys hurt all the time. What do you think? Is there a market there for the quarterback in San Francisco?
Well, interestingly, I believe they just signed Josh Rosen to like a minimum contract. So
really?
At least they have that some sort of insurance policy that somebody will suit up, whoever it is. So that's the problem with the 49ers. It's like a revolving door of quarterbacks. During last season, it was Garoppolo, it was Beathard. So they didn't really get the consistency. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. And I believe that the 49ers are already looking into moving out of Jimmy Garoppolo. It's just that they couldn't figure out how to do it because they would rather start with a younger quarterback and run the reins with him. And Garoppolo, I believe, has played his best days for San Francisco and would be better off elsewhere.
Okay, so let's imagine that Jimmy Garoppolo, let's imagine that somehow San Francisco gets one of these other quarterbacks that we're talking about, drafts a quarterback. I don't know where they get the quarterback from, but they no longer want Jimmy Garoppolo. Is there a value for Jimmy Garoppolo on the trade market? And if there is a value, what is the value?
If there's a value for Jimmy Garoppolo, so I guess the number one suitor for Garoppolo will still be the New England Patriots. Remember how Bill Belichick was screwed of Garoppolo because Tom Brady wanted to stay and they had to trade Garoppolo. So I guess Bill Belichick is still banking on the fact that he can turn Jimmy Garoppolo into a franchise quarterback. And if there's an opportunity, he would vouch for him and they will be able to bring him back. So as far as trade value for Garoppolo is concerned, again, you always put value according to the last thing you did for me. And apparently Garoppolo hasn't done much lately because of injury. So you already have that danger of being a damaged good, Garoppolo that is. So I wouldn't give a first rounder for him. So the best that I could give him is 2 second rounders for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Wow, 2 second rounders, really?
Yeah.
So you think Jimmy Garoppolo has more value than a Sam Darnold? Sam Darnold was 1 second rounder for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I guess
to me, if you're just going to go side by side, just those two, forget about everything else we talked about, just side by side, Jimmy Garoppolo or Sam Darnold, I'll take Darnold. He's on a cheaper contract. He's not hurt he does get injured, but he doesn't get injured like Garoppolo does. So that's how I feel about that side by side. But I mean, I'll listen to your argument.
Yeah, I believe Garoppolo is still a more established quarterback. So you'll be able to evaluate him well. He has proven himself to some extent. So he does have some market that is higher than Darnold, I believe.
Okay. Well, listen, if you guys just watch this clip or just watch this part of the show, we've done this for every division in the NFL. There's never been a year like this that we've ever seen in the NFL, and there's never been a podcast like this. This has absolutely, positively been our longest podcast ever. For those of you that watched from the beginning or listened from the beginning all the way until the end, hopefully we entertained you. Thank you for all your comments in the chat, and don't forget to check us out at whatsonsports.com. Go over there and check out our brand new $2 Sports Club. We'll be waiting for you. See you.